Howdy ho, everybody. I am Donut, and I'm here with...
Their mates.
I have seen South Park up to season 20-something. He is watching it blind for the first time. This is episode 11 of season 2. Robert Ebert should lay off the fatty foods.
Who?
Robert Ebert. You don't know Robert Ebert?
Oh, the Eberts?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I assume it's the same. Which Ebert are you thinking of?
The review man.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, play.
Did you say Robert or Roger?
I said Robert.
I thought his name was Roger Ebert.
I'm pretty sure it's Robert. Oh, it is Roger. Oh, I'm an idiot.
And it just so happens we are going on a field trip tomorrow.
Hooray! To where?
To the planetarium.
Planetarium's sick.
Oh, now what's wrong with the planetarium?
It's boring. Yeah, all the constellations look alike.
Well, too bad. You're all going to the planetarium tomorrow, and you're all going to love it. In the meantime, we're going to watch episode number 203, Barnaby Under Siege. Oh, sorry, I taped these at home, so there's more commercials.
Hey, kids, do you love cheesy poofs?
Yes.
Did this ever happen in your classes?
Not this. Mr. Garrison is insane.
It happened in my classes.
Watching Barnaby Jones?
No. Watching, commercials.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on Mythbusters or something like that.
Okay.
I thought you meant did they ever show you just a random TV show and ask you questions about it? No, I didn't have Mr. Garrison.
We're going around the country to find the kid who can sing the Cheesy Poof song better than anybody.
I can sing the Cheesy Poo song with both hands tied behind my back. You couldn't get both your arms behind your back, fat ass.
Is that fat kid Canadian?
Hello, children.
Why
My
do you
name
think
is
that?
Dr.
Oh,
Adam.
okay.
Welcome to the planetarium.
I thought it was planetarium.
Well, it is, but I have a bone disease, which impedes my ability to pronounce the T in planetarium. That's a pretty weird bone disease. Yes, perhaps someday I can get a bone marrow transplant. Little Missy here runs the big projector for us.
I love my work. Well, dude, you're only as old as us. Shouldn't you be in school? I love my work.
Come on, let's get into the planetarium, shall we? Good morning, children, and welcome to the planetarium.
I hate this.
What is this quirk?
A constellation called the Big Dipper. If I project a drawing of a Big Dipper on top of it, we see where this constellation gets its name. These stars over here form the constellation of Taurus, the bull, while these stars form the constellation Roger Ebert. And these two little stars over here form the constellation the Crusades.
Relatable.
Exactly what comes out of
Yeah,
Roger
man,
Ebert's
screw
mouth.
this.
Jesus.
And now breathe deep as the stars slowly start to move in little circles. I know you think planetariums are boring, but I'm going to try to change the way you think about that.
Yeah. I love Cheesy Poofs. You love Cheesy Poofs. If we're the Cheesy Poofs, we'd be lame. I'm talking Night Court in its 5th season. Lame.
Wow!
That's right, sucker night.
Well, kids, how did you like the planetarium?
No way he's
Oh,
going
man, I
back.
don't feel so good. Me neither. But I love the planetarium. Me too. It was sweet.
Really? What did you like best about it?
I don't know. I don't even remember what happened.
You know what? I was gonna say I like the planetarium, but I couldn't remember why I did, so I never.
Oh, no.
I just didn't say it.
Don't forget we have laser rock shows at night here at the planetarium. This week it's Laser Kenny Loggins and Laser James Taylor.
My head still feels funny. Yeah, mine too. Whoa, dude, who the hell are you? My name is Van Gelder. Van Gelder? What the hell are you doing on our bus? Mr. Garrison, there's some freaky kid from the planetarium on our bus.
Oh, great. Well, I guess we have to go back.
No, don't go back. No. Hey, be careful, asshole. Please, don't take me back there. Can't. All right, dude, mellow out. Jeez.
We better get him to the nurse's office. Stat.
Is this also Star Trek reference?
Planetarium. Oh, the machine is...
I think tonight the planetarium's doing laser logins. I might have to check it out. Oh man, this is boring.
Yeah, who the heck finds this stuff interesting?
Dude, this is totally killer.
I was about to say.
Okay.
Oh no.
You will not remember what happens here. To remember it will cause incredible pain. Incredible pain. Incredible icky pain.
Dude, I'm totally tripping. This is totally killer.
And today we're going to learn all about Japanese poems called haiku. A haiku is just like a normal American poem, except that it doesn't rhyme, and it's totally stupid. For example, where's Eric Cartman?
That's a haiku?
No, I'm asking why Eric Cartman isn't at school.
Oh,
Was he on the school bus this morning?
no. Fat ass Cartman was not on the school bus today. What a big fat turd.
Oh, very good haiku, Kyle. Yes, haikus have 5 syllables, then 7, then 5.
Hey, where have I been? Where have I been?
No way.
Where have you been, Cartman? Well, I might have been over at the Cheesy Poof Callbacks winning regional championships. This is my regional championship certificate. Do you like it? Yeah, where's your regional champion certificate, Clyde? Oh,
Does
you
he have to
don't
go to
have one?
nationals?
Did you have a regional certificate, Wendy? No? Apparently only I do. Ass full of pork fat, jiggles like a jello mold, mouth is flapping too. Your haiku insults have no effect on you, Kyle. I'm regional champion. Is that really going to be in that
like
Cheesy
you,
Poof
it's just like
commercial?
that.
It's between me and 4 other kids. I'm on my way now with my mom to the finals. I bet
Okay,
you
yes,
don't win.
yes.
They don't let big fat asses perform on TV.
Very good, Kyle.
Shut your goddamn mouth, or else I'm gonna kick you square in the balls. Ask her. Ah, damn it!
I'm going to sedate him now.
No, no drugs.
Drugs are good, okay? We're gonna have to try a mind meld, okay?
A what?
Well, it's an ancient technique handed down from school counselor to school counselor. I don't like to use it, but it may be our only hope.
Well, what will you need?
Just time to prepare, nurse. Just time. Okay. I'm just gonna step outside and go wee-wee.
Certainly, Mr. Garrison. You love the planetarium. To be without the planetarium causes you horrible pain. All you want to do is help the planetarium thrive. To not do so makes your stomach ache with needle-like stabs. And right over here we see the constellation Orion.
A lot of competition here.
Do you think I might win, Mommy? I hope so, honey. Then perhaps we can eat for a little while.
Hey, look, they're giving away bread outside.
Did you hear that?
Oh, no.
Come on. Perhaps we can get some food in our stomachs.
Psych. I want to go again.
Oh, for Pete's sake, Clyde, you just went.
Well, Clyde, if you like the planetarium so much, perhaps you'd like to do some volunteer work.
Yes, yes, please. Me too. I want to do it. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Planetarium's good.
Mr. Garrison?
Well, I guess I could give them extra credit for it.
Excellent. Why don't we step over here and I'll show all you children how to volunteer.
Yay! Dude, this isn't right. What? We're kids, dude. We don't volunteer for anything. Oh, yeah. Come on, we gotta see what's going on in there. Here's the control panel that operates all the stars. Kenny, you go out there and tell us what you see.
No.
Kenny, what's it doing? This says maximum. Oh my god!
Jesus.
We've killed Kenny! We're bastards!
Hey, it made sense.
Dude, I told you something was up with this place.
Every time.
Still and Bingo was his name, where the farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name,
Oh, that green is so neon.
oh. Oh, and Bingo was his
Oh,
name,
so
where the
off.
farmer had a dog, and Bingo was his name, Ing. Ing. And Bingo was his name,
What? Now I understand why Carmen.
She works hard for the money, so hard for the honey. She works hard for the money, so you better treat her right.
No.
Hard for the money, so hard for the honey.
Oh,
She works
boy.
hard for the money, so you better treat her right.
Well, Harry Cartman, that certainly was insane.
Thank you.
We'll let you know.
Thank you. Don't pick your nose, hon.
I'm not picking it, man. God damn it, I have an itch.
Oh boy.
Our minds are one. Okay? Our thoughts are one. Okay?
This is the strangest thing I've ever seen.
Please, nurse, for a woman with a dead fetus on your head, you're not being very open-minded. He uses the machine. The star machine. Okay? He uses it to erase minds.
But why?
Planetarium, about to go out of business. Adams had to create slaves to survive.
My God, this is amazing.
Please, nurse, you're throwing off my chi, okay? Unfortunately, that finalist is Eric Cartman.
Yes, I'm the best.
You were actually our last choice, but the other children have unexpectedly taken jobs as volunteers at the planetarium.
That's odd.
Sweet.
I'd like to open an invitation to all South Park residents to come see a special free show this evening. I guarantee it will change the way you think about the planetarium.
And then we turned the dial, and Kenny went into a kind of hypnosis.
That's a pretty far-fetched story, boys.
But it's true, dude.
Are you boys sure you're not just making this all up?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Well, just as soon as I handle all the other crime in South Park, I'm gonna go with you to the planetarium so I can prove that nothing's wrong.
What other crime in South Park?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
I love cheesy puffs.
Hold it, cut. Can we get some more light on that backdrop?
Sure thing.
Oh, man, come on.
Got it.
Okay, here we go, and action.
I love cheesy puffs. You love cheesy...
Cut!
Why?
I'm not liking the shoes. Can we change the shoes?
Oh, God damn it.
Hello, children.
Oh, no, they got chef, too.
Welcome to the planetarium.
Well, it's nice to see you finally got a real job, Chef.
I love my work.
I know what you mean. I've always loved the planetarium, too. Would you like to see the stars, officer?
No.
That would be super-duper.
Don't do it, Officer Barbrady. Hello. Hi, Grandma. It's me, Eric.
Oh, hello, Eric. Grandma sure has
Some
missed
deep
you.
lore.
I just wanted to remind you that I'm going to be on television tonight, so be sure to watch.
Oh, I will, Eric. You know, I remember when I was a little girl and had my first talent show audition for...
Okay, bye.
And now, officer, from this moment on, you will think that you are Elvis Presley.
Oh?
To not be Elvis will cause you great pain. You see, children? There's no stopping me. Even your highly intelligent policemen are no match for me.
He's not highly intelligent. Why are you doing this, dude?
Why? Because nowadays kids have computers and surround sound television. They've forgotten all about planetariums, but I'll make them remember, starting with the two of you. Packed full of ingredients, Cheesy Poops can really give you that quick pick-me-up. So remember, I love Cheesy Poops, you love Cheesy Poops. If we didn't eat Cheesy Poops, we'd be...
Lame.
And now back to Terrence and Philip.
Yes, that was me. I was on television.
Aha!
Say
Caught
like
you
that.
red-handed, okay?
Mr. Mackey.
Officer Barbrady, this man is using some kind of mind control.
What's wrong with him?
Oh no, apparently he thinks he's Charlton Heston.
No, you idiot. He thinks he's Elvis. Elvis, escort our guests to the planetarium.
Well, if you wouldn't mind, could you please follow me?
And now you will remember nothing, except that the planetarium is the best thing you've ever known.
Well, you guys can all kiss my ass because I was on television. Hey, didn't you guys see it? I was on television. You missed it. You missed it because of this stupid planetarium. Planetarium suck ass. Cartman, you saved us. The hell are you talking about?
Eric, you really saved the day, okay? Not so fast there, Tubby. I'm just taking care of business. Think hard, Elvis. You're not really the king of rock and roll. You're a fat, stupid, worthless policeman in a small town, okay?
Oh, thank you from a fate worse than death, counselor.
got a full dose of the stars.
Yeah, with nobody around to say anything.
Can you imagine it, Stan? A mind emptied by that thing. Wow, what a day this has been. I was on TV, and I'm a hero.
Don't pick your nose, hon.
Why?
Oh Lord. I get his frustration. I feel like I used to get that in school all the time.
Yeah.
Where like just doing this and someone would say, "Oh, you're picking your nose."
I've definitely been there with not picking my nose, but with like other itches and stuff.
Like what? People are like, "What are you itching? You crack addicts?"
I guess like scratching my nose was the main thing.
Yeah. Just like itching.
It's like I'm not.
Yeah. But so what would you rate this episode?
I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay, I would give it a 9 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, I love this episode. I think I've only given the Terrence Phillip episode a 10 out of 10. I'm saving my 10 out of 10s, keeping them sparse. But yeah, this is a 9 out of 10, easy for me.
Okay.
I love the more supernatural kind of episodes.
Yeah, like it does lean into the weird town aspect of South Park.
Yeah. What was your favorite joke in the episode?
Favorite joke was probably it was 100% Mr. Mackey being able to do the mind meld. Like,
yeah, it has to be.
Not even him doing the mind meld.
Just saying.
Just saying it made me like buckle over.
That was fucking fantastic.
Which, like, I don't know if it's a specific episode or not, but this was very Star Trek influenced.
Okay.
Like, the name Tantalus 5 sounds very familiar, as in the Tantalus 5 Observatory.
Okay.
The uniforms they all wore were, like, the very, like, Star Trek-y, like, slit down. And the mind meld's also a very classic Star Trek thing.
Okay, sure. I assume, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a classic sci-fi thing in general.
So I'm really surprised that within the same season they had two. Also, what was the title of this episode again?
Roger Ebert should lay off the fatty foods.
What does that mean?
So, Roger Ebert gave Orgasmo and Basketball bad reviews.
I can understand that.
But he did give South Park good reviews.
Okay.
Even after the time of, even before this episode. Like, he gave season 1 really good reviews.
Okay.
But still, because of Orgasmo and Basketball. I mean, like, the episode's not about him in any way. They just, like, named the episode that because they had no idea what to name the episode.
I mean, last episode was chicken pox. This could have been Planetarium.
I guess it could have been, yeah. But, I mean, I assume they also wanted to throw in a dig at him. You know, in the way that it always is. Very rarely is it, like, actually attacking them personally.
Right.
Like, Barbra Streisand was, like, an example of that. But, yeah, speaking of the Mackie mind meld thing, like, my favorite stuff in South Park is the super casual supernatural stuff.
Okay.
Like that. Like in the Barbra Streisand episode. Everything about Barbra Streisand isn't even what I find, like, so funny about that episode. It's just the stuff where, like, Leonard Maltin's just like, Leonard Beam, and just shoots a beam out of his life. Like, that sort of shit, where they just call on the singer of The Cure to come transform and fight it. Like, just people having casual, just like, oh yeah, I can just do a mind meld. Yeah, that was fantastic. What about the planetarium? I'm not sure that's a very American thing or not.
I've never been to a planetarium.
Really? Okay.
And, like, it definitely wasn't a classic thing here. Like, I can't think of many, like, pop culture things in general that have mentioned a planetarium.
Okay. I can think of quite a few cartoons that have done the planetarium episode. Or not the planetarium episode, but have had a planetarium in them at the very least.
Right. But, like, have you been to a planetarium?
Oh, yeah, I've been to a planetarium many times.
Okay. Is it like that in the sense that, like, you lay down and they just do constellations?
Pretty much. I remembered liking it, but I can't remember why I liked it. I think I just liked it because I got out of school.
Okay.
I don't think I liked the planetarium. I think I'm just remembering the memory of not being in school.
Okay.
So, I think that's more of what it was. It was air-conditioned. It's you can go to sleep and nobody's gonna tell. That's pretty much the only good things about it. Whenever you would go to like the planetarium, that like one time went to a planetarium that was also attached to like a big space museum.
Okay.
That was very interesting. The space museum was interesting. Planetarium still not interesting. But it was interesting in the sense of learning about the stars for the first time, really. But overall,
it's something I'd like to do now, but I don't think I would have enjoyed it as a kid.
I would enjoy it more as a kid than I would now, for sure, because I didn't understand space. So, it was a lot more mystical to me. But overall, it was just like, here's a constellation, here's a constellation.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool part about it to me was not anything they said, but just like, thinking about it in general. Like just, my imagination and stuff. But yeah, I would say it was just any time being out of school is a fun time. And again, before they were complaining about playing dodgeball, now they're complaining about going on any field trip at all, where it's just like, any field trip is like, hell yeah.
Okay. I definitely have a more mixed experience with field trips.
Really?
I mean, I generally liked going to school. So if it was a field trip that wasn't that interesting, it's like, I'd rather be at school.
Okay.
I definitely had times where we had a field trip planned, like, more in high school than in grade school, where, like, I'd heard from, like, kids in the next year up that it wasn't great, so I would find a way to get out of going on the field trip, so I could stay at school.
Jeez. No, like, I'm absolutely, like, if there was, like, a fire in the school and we have to stand outside of the school, just standing out there in a line, waiting to be let back in. This happened to me once for, we were out there for 5 hours, and then we were, 4 hours, because it couldn't be over, then they sent us home.
Okay.
It was like we couldn't be over 4 hours or something. And they let us sit down eventually. But, that, so much better than being in school. Standing out there, literally doing nothing, just staring at nothing, so much better than being in school.
That is wild.
I would rather do anything than be in school. But yeah, so I cannot relate to these children wanting to learn in 3rd grade, wanting to go on a field trip that's fun.
I've definitely also had the experience of watching something in class and going like, I don't want to be watching this. I do want to be like doing something else in class.
Absolutely not me. But this is actually the good shot here of our whole class in the classroom here. I feel like I wanted to bring up that the kid that introduced this episode, it's been a long time since this has happened. It hasn't happened since the beginning of season 1, where that kid's voice and mannerisms and everything are so close to another character's that is like an actual character in the show. That it was very jarring to me, where I was like, oh yeah, that's not that character. And it's interesting, this is not the whole class either, I'm noticing. For sure. But I'm not even talking about like the whole later on, where I am. But like we've seen characters already that aren't even in here. But I would say again, this is most of the class, and I like how a lot of them have been characterized already in some ways. Like I would say the two on the far right have not at all.
Okay.
I think the guy behind Kyle is Kevin, the one they were talking about on the bus. Who was the Chinese guy? He's Chinese American. You remember the dodgeball episode? They were making fun of him for being Chinese. You don't remember that? Okay, never mind.
I remember that. I didn't know he was a kid in the class.
He was on the bus with them of their class.
I mean, there's lots of kids that just aren't in their class, but they're around.
Like who?
You have names.
I mean, I don't think that's true. I don't think there's ever been anybody. Maybe on the bus? I don't think so. I think everybody on the bus is in their class, which is weird. But I think that's the case.
Okay, I'll defer to you on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, we have Clyde, who has been brought up multiple times as the person who does not even have a personality. He's just the normalest motherfucker right now on the show.
Okay.
I feel like every time they've said something to him, he's just like the most normal response ever. Okay. Pip, of course, we have the gay, everything's gay. Gay. Wendy. We're missing Bebe, who has been in an episode. I know you probably don't give a shit about any of this, but maybe some people listening. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to mention for a while, just the
Yeah.
how the cast has been moving throughout these seasons. But yeah, we're missing Bebe here. There's another character's a blonde character that has appeared multiple times, was given a different name in a previous episode in season 1 that has been way more regular in the cast but has not been here. There's also the black kid who we haven't I just completely skipped over with the T on his shirt. I don't think they've given his name yet. And we also skipped over Dog Poo. Again, just poor kid. But yeah, I think that's all the characters that have been introduced for the class.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna just go ahead and say there's 2 on the right are fucking nobody. I don't know who the hell they are. They're just 2 random ass fucking people. There's some people in the class who have, they've never been named. They're just, characters who I don't even recognize them at all.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's just some character designs that swap in and out. But
Okay.
so it's interesting which characters, which important characters appear when and when they get named. Like, this black kid has been around since I think the very beginning of season 1. And he
Okay.
still has not been named. Or like the blonde character has been around since the very beginning of season 1, still has not been named. We're given a different name. And then his name's gonna be retconned later.
Okay.
His name, voice, and everything's gonna be retconned later.
Okay.
It just happens. Actually, Clyde, the brown-haired one, was the one. I'm just gonna say Butters. He had Butters' voice early on, and now he's actually Clyde. But yeah, it's so interesting. Very rarely do you get to see this in a in a like cartoon or like I don't know, like a Western show. I feel like this is a thing in anime or manga sometimes, where the characters sort of get retconned a little bit, or in comics or whatever. But like, it's very interesting to see it over the course of the show. These characters just like their appearances and voices just getting retconned throughout these episodes.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay. Is there anything else about like the plot of this episode we want to talk about? I mean, Mr. Stick is still here.
Mr. Stick's still here.
Still Mr. Stick.
I guess the cheese poop thing in general. Like, did you ever enter one of those contests?
No. Did you try and get on TV or anything like that?
I was on TV once. It was not great.
Really? What was it for?
Like, it was a news thing. They were doing a piece on my school because most schools in the area do, I think, I want to say 75-minute periods, but that sounds wrong. That sounds insane. But my school had a system in which they would like all the periods were actually 60 minutes, and then they would take the extra time and make a special period where you could just kind of do anything. It was basically like a free period for everyone, even if you're not a senior.
Is that not like study hall?
No, we don't have study hall.
But I mean, is that not just study hall? Like, I've had study hall, which is just a free period where you do nothing.
Okay, can study hall be at like any point of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it could. Well, what do you mean?
Like any point of the day,
Like,
literally any
I
point.
can. Okay, no.
No.
Like, it's on your schedule as like
Okay.
it rotates around, but it's on a schedule.
Okay.
It's not like you can just say, "Hey, teacher, I'm going to leave the class and take my study right now."
No, this was also scheduled.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you can just leave in the middle of classes and
No.
taking study hall.
No.
Okay.
So I guess it was essentially just a study hall, which no other school had.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so I was on TV very briefly to talk about it. I was like, yeah, I like not having to do homework at home.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time at home.
See,
And then everyone, like, my parents did the Cartman thing of telling everyone, oh, he's going to be on TV. And then everyone dunked on me because they were like, what do you mean you don't have time to study at home?
Actually, by the way, I was on the news for my work and everything. That I didn't think to even count that.
Okay.
But I was. I didn't tell anybody, and they found that anyway. They were just watching the news. What happened?
Okay.
But what's I say? Oh, yeah, I did the smart thing where we had study hall, and I used it to read and just not do my homework. Because I did my homework for math class in middle school because I had homeroom with somebody who had my math class but a grade higher than me. So he just gave me his notebook, and the teacher did the exact same stuff, just did the same stuff that he did for his year, because he was a year ahead of me. So I just copied over all of his homework from the previous year every time. So I just did that because it was, why not? But ever since 5th grade, I've had a hard rule of no homework. So I loved study hall because I got to read so much more. I read so much books in middle school because I moved around so much. Only one school I've ever been to had a study hall.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved it because I got to read a ton.
Mm.
Fuck homework. Never would do homework.
I'm the exact opposite. I did so much homework.
Nah, I almost failed. Was it elementary? No, it would have been 6th grade. Yeah, I almost failed 6th grade because of not doing homework. But they had a whole like talk where they brought in me and my parents and the principal and all that, and they were like, "Look, we're gonna pass you, but you have to do homework in 7th grade." And then I moved and I went to my new school and just didn't do homework, and I always passed. I just passed with like very low grades.
Okay.
As long as I had top grades in the class.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying I was the best in the classroom. I'm saying like at least as if I had good grades in the class overall, then homework could never bring my grade down enough to fail me. And my parents didn't give a shit.
Okay.
My parents are honestly bad parents. They're good. They're great parents, but also bad parents in the way that if I didn't give a shit, they didn't give a shit. So, you know, as long as I wasn't failing, they didn't care. If I passed, I passed. Because really, nobody looks at your height. Nobody looks at your fucking, grade school shit anyway. They only look at your college stuff. So they only care if you passed high school. No one's like, you got a C in your math class? I'm sorry, but you're not getting this job.
But yeah, I'd mostly do like homework in study hall, unless it was something I wanted to do at home, in which case I'd save it. And then, like, especially once I got free period, sometimes I would just like go out during study hall and just kind of learn about the city.
Okay, but, I mean, yeah, because you can leave your school,
yeah,
which is really cool.
So like, if I had,
I'm surprised that I mean, I guess that's just a Canada thing. So like, that's the thing that they should have done a news thing on, the fact that you guys can leave your school and go do that sort of stuff.
So if I had like 2 or 3 hours in a row with nothing to do, I would just like go downtown and hang out, or like go to the actual big like public library and just read for 3 hours, and then come back to school.
A 3-hour study hall?
Well, it would be like an hour of study hall, then lunch, then a break.
Okay.
Like, I think that only happened like one semester. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And otherwise, like sometimes I would like have a lunch and a study hall, or lunch and something else line up, so I could just like spend 2 hours doing something.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's good or not. That sounds like hell to me. I would just want it to be over.
I mean, I also live pretty close, so I could have walked home if I wanted to. I never did.
I would have absolutely done that. I worked for 5 years, and on my lunch break, every single day I went home.
That is wild.
Every single day. I mean, well, I guess, yeah, for 5 years. I worked there for 6 years, not 5 years.
Okay.
And so after a year, I started doing it. Because one of my other coworkers did it. He lived even closer than I did. So he would just walk to his house on his lunch break. And I was like, why the fuck don't I just drive to my house? It takes me 5 minutes to get to my house, and it takes me 5 minutes to get back. So then if I just take a 30-minute lunch and then just lie and say that I'm not going 40 minutes for 5 years, then it all works out. And it did. It worked out fine.
Okay.
I just took a 40-minute lunch every day when I was supposed to be taking a 30-minute lunch, and I went home every single day. It's totally fine. That's the way the world works, baby. Nobody gives a shit. I don't know how. Like, they had to have seen my attendance. It's kept in a book manually. They just didn't give a shit. Like, I had a panic where after I was doing it for 3 years, I had to, like, because I was assistant manager, I had to, like, go call somebody to, like, see if they could cover a shift. So I had to go in the store's manager's office thing. I was opening up the book, and I'm like, oh, they have literally all my times here written down manually. I guess they don't give a shit, so I just kept doing it.
I mean, conversely, at my current job, I once, like, forgot to clock in after lunch for 5 minutes, and someone from HR came and asked me, like, are you okay?
I mean, yeah, my stepdad got suspended from work for writing down 1 minute. Yeah, they like suspended from pay and everything for like a week. Because he like wrote down, this was done at whatever 31 instead of whatever 32 time, and it was like, but yeah, so it's depending on the job how strict they're gonna be.
Right.
If you're gonna work at a shitty supermarket like I did, they're really not gonna give a shit. If I am showing up and doing my job better than most of my other fucking coworkers there, then they don't give a shit if I'm taking a 40-minute lunch.
Fair enough. Actually, did you get paid for lunch?
No, not lunch.
Okay, that probably also explains that.
Yeah, I figured. Like, I always, that was my rationale, always, was I don't take a 10-minute anyway, because I hate just, like, going in the break room with the peons. I hate them. I'm not a people person, so if I can't go home, what's the point? So I would not take a 10-minute, I would just take a 40-minute, which is not how it works, I understand, but I would do it anyway, and that was my rationale, and I was like, well, instead of taking the 10 minutes that I'm getting paid for, or that they're paying me for, I'm just taking the 10 minutes that I'm not getting paid for. So they're better.
Fair enough.
I mean, and the fact that they made me the assistant manager shows that they were pretty fucking desperate.
Did anything else happen in this episode?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about this episode at all.
Oh,
we did. We've just been going on so many tangents.
Yeah.
Which is good. These discussions have been a little lackluster lately. Cartman saving the day was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Because, last episode, and... I wouldn't say this episode was normal, but last episode was the first time Cartman really got to be a real asshole.
Yeah.
And, even then, was he? I mean, he was just an asshole to his mom, but
which he has been before.
Yeah, which I guess he hasn't done anything that's been that different. It was just he's always an asshole to his mom.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an asshole in general, but he didn't do anything evil, as we keep saying.
Right.
I don't think I'm forgetting anything. I don't remember if he did something even more evil that I'm forgetting completely.
I can't think of it. Off screen, we've been talking about the most evil thing Cartman's done to our recollection, and so far, to me, it's just been when he was a police officer and he beat up people.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm interested in when it's gonna amp up.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I don't have anything else to say about this episode.
Did you ever try to find constellations in Sky?
No.
Because I definitely had that experience of, with some of them, it's okay, yeah, I can see how the Big Dipper makes sense. But then there's another one where it's just that's all of Orion. And it's I have no idea how that's a person.
I've seen, the constellations, a picture or something, but I've never tried to look up in the sky and, which constellation is that? I think somebody probably had to try to do that with me, but I don't know. I have never had any, I wouldn't know what the hell I'm looking at.
Fair enough.
That's it for this episode. See you guys for the next one. Until then, get the fuck out of here. And don't do your homework.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it.
School is bad.